start with messaging in general. Okay. So we're going to start with messaging in general. That's, of course, in the business context. So we're going to start with messaging. What are the benefits of messaging for your business? And then we're going to move down to Google's business messages. So we're going to examine the features and then the benefits. And then gradually we wrap up with questions and answers. So as the webinar progresses, if you have any question you'd like our speakers to take, just drop them in the Q&A box. At the end of the webinar, we're going to attend to all of them. So who are going to handle the discussion this evening? So Charles, our CEO, and Itohan, our head of growth, are going to spearhead the discussion this evening. Hi, IT. Hi, Charles. Over to you.
Hi, Oye. Good afternoon.
Hi.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Thank you. Hi, Charles.
Hi, Charles.
Hi, everyone.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, or I can say good morning or good evening, depending on the neck of the woods where you're joining us from. From all of us at Ibanko, we say big welcome. You could take out time from your very busy schedule to join us today. So very quickly, I know he has done some introductions, so I'll just be letting us know what Ibanko is about. So Ibanko is the one that we're the ones hosting this webinar today. So I'd like to tell us a little bit about Ibanko before we go to the crux of the discussion for the webinar today. So at Ibanko, working with businesses, various businesses, we aggregate all messaging channels onto one omni-channel for business and customer interaction. So in my own words, this is how I like to define it. I like to say that basically we optimize the full potentials of chats for business to customer engagement. So as far as chats is concerned, we try to help you see the full potential of what you can do with the chat platforms. And in doing this, we do so with four main product offerings that help us to do so. The first one we refer to as the FAQ bots. It's let me try and break it down like a digital assistant, if I could use that word, a digital assistant that allows you service your customer 24/7, 365 days in the year. It's always available. It typically picks responses from your frequently asked questions and provide instant answers for customers. So the first time a customer is engaging you, they basically want to ask some basic inquiries, so like what's your address, opening hours, things like that. So we have a digital assistant that helps you do that. Then there is a very seamless handshake between that digital assistant and a human agent on a platform we refer to as a live chat. So this the digital assistant gathers as much information from the customer as he's unable to provide or it is unable to provide, then passes that information on to a human agent, and that human agent is now able to also support the client. Then we take it a step further with what we call our service automation. This actually enables customers to do repetitive everyday transactions that they do. So what are those transactions your customers typically carry out? So this particular service or this particular product of it allows the customer to be able to consummate those transactions without having to interface with any single human being. So they are served and and they are fulfilled, or whatever it is that I request for, they are fulfilled end to end without having to interface with a human being. Then we have something like what we call an icing to the cake that we refer to as broadcast messages. So what this typically means is your typical broadcast message. So today the offerings that are available for broadcasting messages are either SMS or via email. That's the channel via which you can broadcast messages to customers. But what we are telling you at Ibanko is that whatever messaging channel your client engages you from, whether it is Facebook Messenger, Twitter, WhatsApp, Instagram, or your web chat you have on your website, whichever one they use to engage you, you can actually send out broadcast messages via the same channel. And And the part of all these things we've said is we aggregate the interface into one view. Let me break that down into what it means. So you probably today, for you to engage your customers on business, on Facebook Messenger, on Twitter, on WhatsApp, on Instagram, even though you have to have different channels, you have to have different people manning it. What Banco does is we aggregate all of that into a single interface, just one view. It's available via web and via the mobile, and we enable this product offerings through other channels. So these 4 offerings are available to your clients on Facebook Messenger, on Instagram, on WhatsApp, on Twitter, name it, whatever channels that you are thinking about, Bank can help you aggregate it and deliver efficient and instant service. So that's us in a nutshell. I'm sure what's going through your mind right now is, so what these guys just bothering and talking about business messaging on these social handles. After all, these are social channels where people actually engage and interact. That's what these channels are for. But for us as an entity, we have a hypothesis that guides everything that we do in eBanqo. And our hypothesis is that the future of customer to business interaction is in social messaging. That's our guide. That's our DNA at eBanqo. And we believe this because of the following points. One, customers are doing everything you can imagine today on the social messaging channels. They are family meetings. They are saying hi. Everything you can possibly imagine, it's happening on the social messaging channel. So what that means is that individuals typically are aggregating in these channels. So what it means that is the preferred platform where even the people you want to sell to, except if you're not selling to human beings, are. So there's more reason why you need to go there. So even studies have 3% of people want to shop from businesses they can message. That's what studies have shown. So typically it's only natural because you're there doing everything else as far as your human interaction is concerned. Even businesses, you want to actually have to engage your business on the same channels as well. We've also found that also from studies that messaging establishes confidence and trust. Yes, there's no network issues. Most of the time, once you're sending a message, you are typically sure that you will get a response from the other side. Thirdly, customers spend a lot of time on this messaging platform. You have no idea what the stats are saying right now. WhatsApp released some data late last year saying that they are pushing 100 billion messages per day. There are only 7 billion people in the world. And if we're doing 100 billion messages per day, I mean, if every business is not there, I'm not sure where they want to be. Instagram has today 1 million active subscribers. That's what people that do stuff on Instagram every day. And Instagram has said on the average, every Instagram user spends 30 minutes on the platform every day. So if a business is not there engaging these customers, I'm not sure where they should be. The final point for me is just it's a major selling point for any business, because the messaging offers you the opportunity to extend your service without having to build a mobile app. Now, for those in the tech, or even want to engage tech companies to build mobile app for them, there are the complexities of what it costs to build, manage, optimize a mobile app. There are the cost of driving traffic to that particular mobile app. There's the cost of supporting that mobile app. Now, all that is taken away. And how does this happen? Simple. When messaging and automation shakes hands, is a powerful, what we call a powerful duo that probably can transcend even a mobile app, because you're actually hitting a lot more audience and scaling beyond what you can drive to your mobile app. So for your mobile apps, you have to push traffic there. For the social messaging channels, when you add automation, you have
looks like we've lost it somehow for a second. So let me go ahead to describe what she was referring to. So we see messaging and automation as a very, very strong duo that actually helps businesses, not just to... Okay, we lost you for a second, Itoha. You can go on now.
Oh, okay, sorry. I was talking about the benefits that could come from messaging and automations. You know, I was speaking about how it transcends a mobile app. You know, so I'm saying that there's convenience because one, your clients are not going out of their typical platform that they like to be in to do every other part of their life. They are there and they can consummate their transaction. Just imagine doing everything you want to do on the WhatsApp channel. You don't need to. Then there's speed. You're getting served immediately. 4% of services that customers come to request for you are repetitive. The same thing they do every day. And typically they don't need a human being to have it resolved. The world has moved forward. The world is going digital. So it's best we align now. Then there's service availability 24/7. Now there's a general consensus now that the world does not sleep. So businesses that want to make impact have to be available 24/7. And the only way you can do that is via technology. And this is one of the opportunities. And for me, this is just like the final point I personally love the most. It's consistency in customer experience. Now, for any business that wants to be alive or want to continue to exist, you need to have customers, and your customers can only be retained when you can guarantee great customer experience and it's consistent every time and all the time. And with messaging and automation, this is literally doable. So I've said much about what we do at Ibanko. I talked about why business messaging and why businesses should embrace this, but that's not why we're here today. We're here to talk about Google Business Messages. Let me say very quickly upfront that one, we're not an agent of Google. We're just sharing our knowledge as far as business messaging is concerned. And this just happens to be one of the channels that we want to share our knowledge and experience with you about. So right now, I would invite our CEO, Charles, to walk us through this aspect of the webinar. Hi, Charles.
Yeah, hi. Thanks so much for the introduction of messaging in general. So as IT has mentioned, we believe that messaging in general is really critical for businesses to engage with their customers on an ongoing basis. And in particularly, we see Google, because of its entire spread and popularity, as an option for customers to also engage with businesses as well. So several businesses today engage with their customers on Facebook, on Twitter, on WhatsApp, and several other channels out there. So we're now adding Google into it. So what exactly is Google Business Messages? It's basically a new platform such that from within search and in Google Maps, businesses are able to engage with their customers. So you can search for a business on Google, and once you find a business, you can actually start chatting with the business right from within Google without downloading a new app. So by default, Google wants three main things to be possible. It wants customers to be able to live chat with the business, wants customers to be able to get instant answers to whatever questions they have, all of this without downloading a new app. And that's basically what they have been trying to achieve so far. I'll show you a quick example of what it looks like from two US retailers. So the first retailer on the left is Target, which is a very, very big retailer. And second on the right is Walmart, which is also a big retailer. So when you search for both of them on Google, you would see that you can call, you can get directions, you can save, and you can go to the website of Target right from within Google. But Walmart has something that Target doesn't have. Walmart has the ability for customers to actually start a chat for them right from within, right from once they are found. And this is within Google Search. The second is within Google Maps as well. So within Google Maps, same thing for Target. You can do various things. You can find the directions to go to Target. But in addition to being able to find directions to go to Target, in the case of Walmart, you can also chat with somebody in Walmart to find out a little bit more about what it is. So for example, if you wanted to search for a particular item that you wanted to go and buy at a particular store, you're able to do that right from within the search option. So this is what it looks like in real time. So when a customer clicked on chats within Walmart, they got a hello message within Google. They were able to see the store hours, or they got some prompts to show them about store hours. They could search for products, look at return policy and other things. Now, beyond clicking on these buttons, Walmart also made it possible that you could type a message and get an instant response. So I typed a message that asked, do you have bananas? And it told me that the nearest store to me does have bananas. It has regular bananas and it has organic bananas. So I could actually view more information, either what aisle is it on within the store? Could I place an order and pick it up when I get there? All those things can be done right from within here. And that's basically one of the main advantages. So if you think about it from the perspective of Target versus Google, Target versus Walmart in this scenario, what you can see is that Target, you actually have to physically go to the store or call anyone picks. But right from, in this case, right from within Google, you can search your nearest without downloading a new app to know what products or services that they have over there.
All right. Thank you, Charles. So from what you just explained, it appears, you need to correct me if I'm wrong, that business messaging is a messaging platform designed specifically for businesses, if I'm correct.
So it's designed for businesses, yes, that have customers and want to be found.
Okay. So how does it how do we differentiate it from the typical messaging channels that we have today? What are the point of differentiation, or what features does it have that can clearly differentiate it from every other messaging channel that we have today?
I'll talk about some of the features first, and later on I'll talk a little bit more about its differentiation. So in terms of features, I mean, one of the things that it gives you is the ability to actually search and be found as a business. So once you search, whether it's a local search or an search for those that are near you or those that are far away from you, they're able to find your business and start chatting with you. And I had mentioned maps as well. But in addition, there is one option that I haven't mentioned. When you actually do an advert, and when you do a Google ad, what you see is that customers can click on the ad and then go to your website or go to where you ask them to go to. What if right from within your Google ad, you could actually put a chat option so that if they wanted to chat with a bot or chat with a human, they could find out a little bit more about the business, right, about what you're advertising, once again, right from within Google. Another thing it does is it gives the ability that once a customer wants to chat with you, they are able to either view what you prompt them to view, or they can actually type. So they have what we call quick replies or quick actions. And these are things that you can actually lead customers. So this could have been a button that says chat with me. This could have been a button that says buy this particular item or return this particular item. So they give you option to put these quick replies right there, or allow customers to type things that are more generic. Another feature it has are cards and carousels, where you can put pictures of what you sell, provide more information about it. People can search through all that you have based on pictures that you provided. If you sell clothes, people can click on it and find out more information. What sizes do you have? If you have videos that you wanted to watch, you can click on it and get all those things are available right from still within Google without having left Google, which is quite cool. Then they also love the ability to transition from a bot to a human being. So this is from a machine to a human being, and back from a human being back to a machine. And what this does for businesses is that it makes them 24/7. So even if the business doesn't work 24/7, when they are closed, the bots that they have implemented immediately become available until they return the next morning. And so people could leave messages for them. People can ask questions and get answers. People could actually put information that they want, and when the business comes back, they can respond to the customer. So those are some of the things that we've seen as main features that Google has.
Okay. 24/7, very, very interesting. I picked up something in your initial messaging that it was available very early last year, or early access was given last year. So my question now is, access has been given last year. So who are businesses down now? What location can we find them? What kind of business sectors are using Good Business Message, apart from Walmart that you have shared with us? Which other businesses can we say are using it currently?
So quite interestingly, I think Google has about over 90 partners that it has signed up in the early access programs around the world. So these partners are in every single part of the world, from Africa to Asia to Europe to North America and Australia. So they have partners everywhere. So they have several implementations and several use cases that are there. So I've picked out some that I'm going to talk about, which I believe would relate to those on this in this session. But there are several other use cases that are out there. So one of them is a banking use case, whereby this is a bank in the US. This is a digital bank in the US that wants to be prim, proper, perfect, and basically wants to be reachable at any point in time. So in their own case, they made it possible for customers to get more information about their offerings, get a cash and additional banking use cases that other people could have. But these are the top ones that I saw from Bella, which is a digital bank in the US. And I saw another telco there's another one from a telco in India. And this telco in India makes it possible that right from Google Maps, you could recharge, you can pay a bill if you're a postpaid subscriber, you could buy data, change your plan from one plan to another. You could take a look at your recharge balance and all those things. And all those things you're able to do once again by finding them on Google. So if you think about it, this would have been a utility company. Could have been a utility company, a water company that allows you to view your bill, find the nearest location to you if you have a fault or a problem, to basically report and do whatever you want to do. Another use case, just like in the retail space also, is Colombia, which is a very, very popular brand that makes it possible for people to shop easily, track the status of their shopping, and even check for any store nearby to know whether a particular store has an item that they want. So retail is, like we can see, is quite popular in this. Then talking about a health insurance company, this is a health insurance company in Nigeria that has done quite a lot with their own offering. So what Nigeria did makes it possible for their customers to buy or renew their plan, request a refund, find a provider that is near them, ask questions, view what coverage they have, check that you have eligibility for a particular treatment, or even chat with a customer. Company that I've also come across also in the US, where it makes it possible for you to order food. So I mean, we have a really big, there's a really big provider in Africa called Jumia Foods that actually provides food delivery. So this is a use case that they could potentially use, where you could provide information about the products that you have, make referrals, make people sign up, place orders, and customer support. And I say customer support is always big, because that's one of the big challenges we've seen in general across the world, that people bring up processes, bring up products, bring out offerings, but they really don't think about customer support. So that's why we always like to show examples that people actually put customer support right from within this channel as well. Now, there are several other use cases we've seen out there. We've seen people that have done restaurant bots or the ability for you to view a menu of a particular restaurant, check each outlet, their opening hours, place an order, make a reservation to go to the restaurant. We've seen pharmacies where people can find a pharmacy near me, find the particular product that the pharmacy has, check whether there's availability, check whether the branch you want to go to is open, or even chat with your pharmacist to learn a little bit more about the medication that you want. Then we have banking options as well, where you can open an account, get an account balance, recharge, bill payments, transfer, apply for a loan, check the status of a loan, and chat with customer service as well. And with cinema use cases, other use cases, there's so many uses out there. You can think about what is it that a customer wants to do, what are the most popular things a customer does with a business, the customer can find you and utilize that service, you can actually implement it with channels.
All right. So this is quite interesting, because what I hear you say, Charles, is that for any business that is customer facing, you can actually have the option of having your business on or what you're offering, and the opportunities are almost endless. So it's interesting, and particularly I'm very happy that Africa had the representation. We usually don't. So thank you, Hygia, for putting us on the map as well. Well, I hope that, for those of us that are here, just to validate, you can actually check it out afterwards. But to quickly go to the next part. So we've mentioned before now that as why we in Ibanko actually encourage people to move towards business messages. But Google Business Message in itself is unique. So I would ask you, why do you think that businesses today should adopt Google Business Messages?
All right. I mean, thanks. I mean, I think every single business there, except you're into research, but every single business out there is actually targeting customers. I'd like to ask, if you have any questions, please post them in the Q&A section, so that we'll address them once we finish having this chat. So just post whatever question you have in Q&A, and we'll come back to them very soon. Thank you. So going back to the point of business messages, by default, I believe business messages, not even Google's one, every business messaging platform out there is a great tool for businesses to have. So whether you want to use Twitter as your business message channel, I think is a great tool to use, because I think the number one place where people go to complain is on Twitter. So if people go and complain on Twitter, why don't you make it possible that when they go to Twitter to complain, you're able to serve them right from within Twitter? Facebook also is really cool. Number one place I think people do a lot of their adverts, in addition to Google, is that Facebook as well. So I'll say, if you can put your adverts on Facebook, why don't you turn Facebook also to be a business messaging option for you as well, so that when you put an advert on Facebook, you make it possible for your customers that are on Facebook to ask questions, to chat with you, to find out more information, but engage with you in real life. Same thing with Instagram. A lot of businesses, particularly small businesses, put pictures and stuff like that in Instagram as well. But what it means is that if you're a small business owner at 11 p.m., at 1 a.m., people that find your product will send you a message and start chatting with you. Why don't you put automation there as well? Why don't you put automations that can curate information that your customers want to ask and give them that answer? And then when you wake up the following day, you can continue serving them. So I feel business messaging in general is cool, not just Google's business messages. So to talk a little bit more about that, I mean, I'll come back to Google in a second. Business messaging is cool for sales, because research has shown that 5% of people actually want to find out about the product or price. I mean, the first time they see your product online, the first thing they want to know is the price. They want to get more details. And if they could do that right from when they see the ad or when it's actually a really cool feature. What if also, you don't want, as a small business in particular, to be overworked. So you need a digital assistant that can actually help people get answers to questions and even complete sales without speaking with anyone. And more importantly, look at that meal in that picture, right? Because you can show images, people can display what you're offering, and then you can actually entice people to actually learn more about your offering or actually purchase it right there and then. So I think from a sales perspective, Google is huge. All the channels are huge. So because of how huge they are, it's critical to be able to leverage them for each of their strengths to be able to reach your customers. Instant messages also improves customer support. We also at Ibanko believe that customer support is critical for every business now and in the future. Research has shown that 90% of customers rate immediate responses as being very important. What that means is that if, as a business, you're not able to provide your customers with instant responses to help them resolve their issues quickly, what that means is that that is not a differentiating factor for you. You're not going to be a market leader if you're not able to do that. So we believe that in the future, being able to provide your customers with instant responses on any channel, Google, Facebook, Twitter, is very, very critical. Customers also believe that messaging is easier for them. Believe that if they are able to contact a business via messaging, they can drop a message and their customer and the business can respond when they want. In fact, 58% of customers say that they would rather message a business than call. Now, I would think this is most important for those that are particularly younger people, because younger people, they really don't like talking. They rather just text you. So this is now texting the business and let the business respond to you in time. And like I said, you could do this on all the channels that you have. But going to Google in particular, I mean, why do we think Google? We think Google is huge, right? Google is huge, Facebook is huge, but we think, I mean, all the channels are huge, but we think Google is really, really huge. One of the things, I mean, one of the research we found is that some 7% of people use Google Maps to search for a business nearby. So imagine I could find you on Google, find a business on Google, and start chatting with you right there and then. So if you sell hats, for example, and somebody says hats near me or hat sellers near me, and you come up and you have the ability for them to chat with you and find out more about you, and then your competitor doesn't have the ability to chat, there's the likelihood that the person will eventually buy from you because they can get an instant gratification by speaking with you instantly. Another research shows that some 6% of people use Google. Some 60% of people that search for a business visit that business within a day. So imagine you're looking for a particular item, you're able to chat with them. If you're able to chat with them, that chat with the business, that the research shows that if a customer is able to chat with you, then they're likely to visit you in one. I mean, I think this is really critical. Versus your competitor that they can't chat with in real time, they may not visit that competitor within one day. And 28% of searches also result in a purchase. So if they chat with you, find you, then 28% of them, this is slightly, even though 76% may visit you, but 28% of them always result in a purchase, which is really cool. And between last year and this year, a near me searches have grown by 136%. A near me search is basically somebody that says pharmacy near me. So if I'm looking for a pharmacy near me and I'm looking for a particular medication, and I find that pharmacy near me and search their inventory to see whether they have this particular medication I have, the likelihood I will go there is higher. The likelihood I will purchase is even higher versus if I search for a pharmacy and I'm not able to, and I'll only have to get to find out if they have what I'm looking for. So those are some of the things why Google is really cool. And we know that Google, in terms of search platform, is number one. 30% of searches around the world happen on Google. So if you can think about that, that's why the first thing you want to do when you're looking for a new item is, who has this item near me? Okay. So why else should you adopt Google Business Messages in addition to other channels that you have? So I'm not saying don't adopt other channels. I'm just saying if you have other channels, I think you should adopt Google as well. So why should you adopt Google? First is it's very, very convenient. No downloading of an app. You open your browser and you search for what you want and you see the chat button right from there, right? So that's instant and that's immediate. So that's one of the main advantages. You don't need to download a new app to use it. Plus, you can even engage with people that don't have your app. That is even better. So as long as you can do some degree of advertising and people can search and find your product or find your business, they can actually start engaging with you there and then. So they didn't have to download your app. They didn't have to come to your store. They just had to find you on Google. And once they're able to find you on Google, they're immediately able to connect with you. So that's another thing that we feel is really cool about that. And it comes pre-built with a digital assistant, like a chatbot that makes it possible for customers to ask questions and then leave feedback 24/7. So even if you don't want to answer customers in real time, you're at least able to answer questions that they have, without them speaking with anyone, and then leave feedback for you 24/7. So you can reach them later on. You can reach them later on. And last but not the least is because of being able to provide 24/7 customer support. I can't overemphasize why it is necessary for you to have customer support and make it possible. So whatever kind of business, whether you're even a bank and somebody has a challenge and they're thinking, how do I report a dispense error? How do I raise a chargeback? And your bank comes up on Google, they should be able to do those things and chat with a human being 24/7. Whether you're an insurance company, somebody wants to file a claim, all those things, it would be great if they can do it from any channel that the customer prefers. And that's why we push Google Business Messages in particular.
Hey, if I was a business right now, I'd be thinking about only one question in my mind. How do I get Google Business Message? That's the only question that's thinking about. But Charles, I'd just like you to also add, because you mentioned that the focus is not just Google Business Messages. There might be some, because I've seen some questions already that is gravitating towards people that are not even present in any of the business messages channel at all. So if you could help us beam light on Google Business Messages, but if you could also help us touch other business messages as far as the Banco is concerned.
All right. Thanks so much. You can see how excited I am about this. So I'll try to tone it down a little bit. Sure. All right. So when it comes to Google Business Messages, eBanqo offers this as part of our offering, but we don't only offer Google Business Messages. I'll talk about it in a second. So when you engage with eBanqo is able to give you Google Business Messages, but in addition to what you typically get generically from any other of the Google partners, we'll give you live chat, which comes by default. We give you an FAQ bot, which IT had mentioned earlier. What that is, it makes it possible for customers to ask you questions and get instant answers. It gives you the ability for customers to leave feedback. They can leave complaints, they can report issues that they have, even when you're offline, and you can receive and respond to them later on. You can send broadcast messages to your customers. So let's say your customer engaged with you before, they had an issue and you want to deal with it, so you can send broadcast messages to them. Or you have a new product and you want to send it to all your customers that have shopped with you before, you can actually send it to them and then they receive it within the Google Business Messages platform. And then last is we also offer automations as well. Automations that, any kind of automation you can think about. So when you saw all the use cases that we showed, the Banco is able to implement any of those automations, from issue resolutions to buy, to check eligibility, to raise cashback, to place an order, to make a reservation, to track the status of your delivery. All those kinds of things eBanqo is able to offer. Now, eBanqo does all of those things not only on Google Business Messages. eBanqo does this same things on Facebook, on Twitter, on WhatsApp, Instagram, on any channel you can think about. So that's really what we do. We create every single channel out there, put automation in them, and make it possible for businesses to improve their sales, for businesses to improve their support when it comes to engaging with customers.
Okay. I actually asked him to do that on purpose because, we have a lot of participants from Nigeria who believe only the CEO. So, so I asked him to do that on purpose. So you heard from the CEO about, what eBanqo is offering, alongside with, helping the handhold you into the sphere of Google Business Messages, as well as all other business messaging channels. So thank you so much, Charles, for walking us through. It's been insightful, it's been knowledgeable, it's been value for any business. Even I'm thinking of, maybe opening a business and just enabling it on Google Business Messages. So for our participants or our attendees, please feel free to drop your questions in the Q&A box, like we advised at the beginning. But for those of us, want to seek further learning, we want to know much more about Google Business Messages, you can learn more if you go to ebanqo.com/Google BM. There's lots more information about Google Business Messages there. We're trying to keep within our time frame that we advertise, so that we don't take more than the time that we said we would. We know that you're all very busy people. So for more learnings, please go to ebanqo.com/Google BM, or you can just go straight to businessmessages.google. That also has a lot of information. Or better still, send us a quick mail. We're very excited to hear from you about what you want to do with business messages, a lot more information. We'll stand by to give feedback. Our CEO has said that he's the 24/7 report, so we don't have a choice to respond to you within 24/7. Let me quickly take one or two questions that we have here so that we don't keep thank you, Daramola. Thank you very much. There's the chats are buzzing seriously. Okay, so somebody wanted to know, Charles, I'm going to give you 3 questions to just answer together, if you don't mind. So first off, someone wants to know, Google Business Messages, is this different from Google My Business? So we have a knowledgeable participant. That's first question. Second question, someone wanted to know, so how can the person wants to know how to comment immediately. How can the person comment immediately? And a financial service company also wants to know how they can how Google Business Messages can further support their customer service and increase their customer base. So those 3 questions. Did you get it, or do I need to go?
I've gotten the 3 questions.
All right,
Thank you.
Cool. All right.
So the first question about what's the difference between Google Business Messages and Google My Business, it's a question we get all the time. So I typically say that Google My Business is a precursor of Google Business Messages. In fact, they even have the same acronym, GBM and GMB. So even to get Google Business Messages, you need to have Google My Business first of all, and it's not an app. So Google My Business is what a business creates. They get verified by, and when they get verified by it, when they get verified on it, they now appear and customers can then find them. Now, if you enable chats within Google My Business app, the chat is only one-to-one, and that's really all that that's all that it offers. What we do with what Google decided to do in Google Business Messages is to take it to the next level. Not just chat one-on-one between the customer and the business, it then adds automations. So that's really the most important part of the difference between the two of them, adding automations to it. So once you add automations, what that means is that customers can chat with a bot without speaking with anyone. Customers can find out information about a business without speaking with anyone. Or customers can actually live chat with a person in real time. Now, one of the advantages that eBanqo offers is that, unlike Google My Business that needs everybody to this new app, you don't have this new app. Instead, eBanqo gives you one app, and whether your customers are on Facebook, on Twitter, on WhatsApp, or Google My Business, they're able to chat from that single app. Second of all, if you have many staff also, it means that it also makes it possible for a customer to come, and let's say 10 customers want to chat and they join a virtual queue, and each of those customers can actually chat with different people. Another difference between that and Google My Business is that if you were using Google Business, all your staff would have to be able to, would basically log in into your account, and you will not be able to differentiate which of your staff responded to a particular customer or not, which is one of the things Google Business Messages tries to solve. Second question about what requirements. I would say go to the website Ito has showed you to, which is ebanqo.com/GoogleBM. And at the bottom, there's there's also a request access. Once you request access, we'll get your information, and then you're able to fill a form to get started, and it doesn't take time to be enabled. Now, I would like to add that because Google Business Messages it came after Google My Business, you actually have to have Google My Business, not necessarily the app. You have to have a Google My Business account to be able to get the full benefits of Google Business Messages. Third, help a financial service organization improve customer service? I would say it gives your customers the ability to engage with you from their own preferred location, right? So let's assume I bank with a particular bank and I can find the nearest branch near me and I could chat with somebody. I could chat with my account officer. I could chat with somebody in that branch before heading there for an issue or a challenge that I have. That's one way I see it helping businesses, because I could either be chatting with somebody in the branch or chatting with somebody in the head office, but the ability to reach them 24/7. Now, also, if they can also other kinds of automations that I had mentioned. So automations like I want to be able to report a dispense error. The customer sees to report a dispense error, and once you report a dispense error, it will ask you which bank did you perform a transaction, attempt to withdraw, and is able to log it and actually attempt to resolve your issue without you speaking with anyone. So that's another way. That's another way you can improve customer service and drive that in the market. So those are the three questions that were asked. So can you confirm that that's satisfactory, or do I go on?
Yes, that's actually satisfactory. So thank you very much. I have 2 more questions to answer, but while that is happening, to our attendees, please, you'll be seeing a poll right now. We want to see your feedback. We want to make sure that we've addressed your concerns, or we've addressed some, and we also want to use this opportunity to gather as much information as we can. We're very big on data at eBanqo. So you see the poll in your screens. Please help us complete the poll. While that is going on, I have 2 more questions. One is for the eBanqo platform. Someone wants to know whether there is an autonomy of the platform, meaning can they determine who sees what and what on the platform, on the eBanqo platform? That's one. Then someone else wanted to, I hope I'm asking this question correctly because I'm seeing it. So are copies of the messages left on the other platform from which Google messages aggregate from? So my assumption is that the person is referring to when you aggregate into a platform, messages are they interlocking, or are they interacting with, or are all other platforms seeing it? That's my thoughts from the question.
Okay, I'd like to pause for a second. I see some questions also in the chat section. Can you just go over there and check as well?
No, this question I just read came from the chat question.
No, so there are some questions in Q&A. There's some questions in chats. So
yeah, this last question I just read came from the chats. So I'm picking one from the chat, and I picked one from the Q&A.
Okay.
If we get 50%, we're good.
Okay. All right.
Where are we?
I think we have about 21.
Okay.
So we need more people to participate.
All right. So again, we're appealing to our attendees. We really value your feedback. Very, very important. So please help us complete the poll. It's just about 3 questions. It should be done in less than 30 seconds. So
okay, so to your questions,
yes.
The second question about does it get left? What happens is Google saves the person's chats within Google Maps. So the person that is initiating the chat is always able to see the chats afterward and see your responses. So if they needed to go back and refer to it, there's a section within Google Maps. You go to Google Maps updates, and then you see chats in there where Google saves the chats that customers have. Now on the business side, yes, also it gets it on the business's side so that they can see what customer service, what the bot engage with the customer on, and they can also see what each individual staff engaged with their customers on. So that's very, very possible. So the first question, what was the question again, IT?
So they wanted to know about the autonomy of the platform, of our eBanqo platform.
So
can
autonomy,
you
I see it
restrict-
two. Yeah, autonomy is two ways. So autonomy is, can you specify what it can do and what it cannot do? The answer is yes. You specify what services you want it to be able to do. And the second part of autonomy is, can you specify what each staff can see? So the platform also has permission. So whereby on your own side, another thing Google My Business doesn't have, on your own side, you can specify permissions and say, this staff can see this staff can do this, that staff can do that. So once you specify permissions, customers are able to do what they're able to do. So those are the two answers.
All right. Charles, can we take one final question? I kind of saved the best for last.
All right.
Okay, it's a very serious question. This is asking, so for small businesses that are dealing with clients that still want to have humans, even with automation being available, how do you think that they can manage this with the innovation of all these solutions?
I will not take away the need for email or take away the need for phone calls in completely from how a business engages their customers. We, however, feel that these additional channels are really, really critical. So I've seen situations whereby people, I've heard a lot of interviews that people have interviewed have said that even when they put things on say Instagram to sell, the customer still wants to chat with someone first before placing an order. So that's what we solve for. But in the situation where the customer wants to, that the customer really wants to speak with the person, the good thing is that we capture all the information about the customer. So as a business, you can pick up the phone and still call the customer. But having said that, research has also shown that 78% of people would rather chat than call. So that means there's still going to be 22% of people that still want to call. So what we're trying to do is to make sure that we at least cater for those 78%. And as an organization, you still make sure that you leave or provide options to be able to speak with your customers when they need to.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Charles. Somehow it seems to be more messages dropping on the chat board. I'm sorry to our attendees, we can't take any more questions. The only one I would address is the one requesting that we should have asked for your emails. For everybody, details for attending this webinar, so we'll definitely be in touch, whether we ask it in the poll or not. So we already have emails. So for everybody else that have not answered, we're going to collate your questions. Thank you so much, Charles. Thank you for hanging out with the rest of us today. Thank you, Oyeye. So Oyeye, over to you. It's a wrap from me. Thank you. And thank you to all our attendees. Very brilliant questions that they put.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us today as well.
Hi, Charles. Hi, Tohan. Thank you very, very much. And then to our guests, thank you so much for sticking with us to the end. We've almost come to the end. So shortly after now, we're going to send you the slides so that you can share with your team or anyone else who you think you find the content helpful. Then once the recording is available, we'll also send to you so you can always reference and then share to anyone. So share with anyone who you think it will be useful to. So you can see the email on our screen, hello@ebanqo.com. So if you have further questions about messaging in general, whether for WhatsApp, Messenger, web chat, Instagram, messaging in general, you can reach out to us. Then if you have questions about Google's business messages, you can also reach out to us and we'll get back to you. So thank you very much and have a nice evening. Bye.